there stands a building that is as famous for its stunning architecture as it is for its chilling history. It's known as Lawang Sewu, which translates to 1,000 doors. While it may not have 1,000 doors exactly, its countless archways and windows create a maze-like effect, giving it an eerie, imposing presence. Built by the Dutch in the early 20th century as a railway headquarters, this colonial masterpiece has seen more than its fair share of history, and with that history comes stories. Stories that have cemented its reputation as one of the most haunted places in all of Indonesia. So, turn down the lights, get comfortable, and let's explore the dark corridors and whispered legends of Lawang Sewu. The story of Lawang Sewu's haunting isn't just a collection of random ghost sightings. It's deeply rooted in its turbulent past. During World War II, the Japanese army seized the building, transforming its beautiful halls into something far more sinister. The basement, originally designed for drainage and utilities, was repurposed into a brutal prison. This is where the darkest chapter of Lawang Sewu was written. Local historical accounts and survivor testimonies paint a grim picture of this period. Prisoners were crammed into small, dark and flooded chambers. Torture and executions were commonplace. The suffering that soaked into these walls was immense, and it's this intense, negative energy that many believe is the source of the paranormal activity today. One of the most infamous parts of this underground prison is the so-called standing cells. These were tiny, closet-sized chambers where prisoners were forced to stand, sometimes for days on end, often packed so tightly they couldn't move or even breathe properly. Then there were the drowning cells, where prisoners were held in water up to their necks. It is hard to even imagine the fear and despair of those held captive in such horrific conditions. When the war ended, the Battle of Semarang took place right here, with Indonesian freedom fighters clashing with Japanese soldiers. Many lost their lives on these very grounds, adding another layer of tragedy to the building's history. It's no wonder that decades later, the echoes of this pain are said to linger. So, what do people actually experience at Lawang Sewu? Well, the reports are as varied as they are terrifying. One of the most frequently reported apparitions is that of a young Dutch woman. She is often seen wandering the long, empty corridors, sometimes looking out of a window as if waiting for someone who will never return. Her story is a bit of a local legend. Some say she was a resident who took her own life within the building after a tragic heartbreak. Her spirit, they say, is forever bound to the place. Visitors have reported seeing her fleetingly in mirrors or catching a glimpse of her white dress disappearing around a corner. Her presence is usually accompanied by a sudden drop in temperature and an overwhelming feeling of sadness. But she is far from the only spirit said to roam these halls. Security guards and late-night visitors often speak of headless apparitions, phantoms believed to be the spirits of executed prisoners or soldiers who died in battle. Imagine walking down a dimly lit hallway, the only sound being your own footsteps, when you see a figure materialize at the far end, only to realize it has no head. These sightings are often brief, but incredibly vivid, leaving witnesses shaken to their core. These aren't just vague feelings of being watched. These are full-bodied apparitions that defy all logical explanation, seen by multiple people over many years. The most intense paranormal activity, however, is almost universally reported to come from the basement, the site of the former prison. This is the heart of the darkness in Lawang Sewu. Even during the day, stepping down into this damp, gloomy space feels like entering another world. The air is thick and heavy, and a sense of dread is almost palpable. It's down here that people report hearing the most terrifying sounds. Disembodied screams of agony, cries for help, and the chilling sound of rattling chains echoing from the empty cells. These aren't just faint whispers on the wind. They are described as clear, guttural sounds of pure suffering. Many who have ventured into the basement have been overwhelmed by these phantom noises. Some have even fled in terror, unable to withstand the auditory assault. Local paranormal investigators who have spent nights in the building claim to have captured electronic voice phenomena, or EVPs, of voices pleading in both Indonesian and Japanese. It's as if the final, desperate moments of the prisoners are trapped in a perpetual loop, replaying over and over for anyone brave or foolish enough to listen. The sheer volume of consistent reports from this specific area makes it the epicenter of Lawang Sewu's haunting. Besides the apparitions and the screams, there's another entity that contributes to the building's terrifying reputation. It's known as a kuntilanak. In Indonesian and Malaysian folklore, a kuntilanak is the vengeful spirit of a woman who died during childbirth. These spirits are said to take the form of a beautiful woman in a long white dress with long black hair to lure their victims. The legend says you can tell a kuntilanak is nearby the scent of frangipani flowers, which then turns into the stench of decay as she gets closer. Visitors to Lawang Sewu, particularly near a large tree on the property, have reported smelling this distinct floral scent out of nowhere, followed by an intense feeling of being watched. Some have even claimed to see a pale woman with long hair lurking in the shadows or perched in the branches of the tree. The chilling sound of a woman wailing or laughing hysterically is also associated with her presence, a sound that has sent many running from the grounds in absolute fear. This folkloric element adds a unique and deeply cultural layer to the hauntings of Lawang Sewu. The building's notoriety reached a new level when it was featured on an Asian television program about haunted locations. The film crew documented their investigation, and the footage they captured was nothing short of sensational. During their time in the basement, they claimed to have filmed a clear image of a kuntilanak. The episode caused a massive stir and firmly cemented Lawang Sewu's status as a paranormal hotspot in the public imagination. Suddenly, the building wasn't just a local ghost story, it was an international phenomenon. This media exposure led to a surge in paranormal tourism, with thrill seekers from all over the world flocking to Semarang, hoping to catch a glimpse of the supernatural for themselves. The building, which had fallen into disrepair, became an unlikely tourist attraction, known more for its ghosts than its grand architecture. For years, Lawang Sewu was open for late-night courage tests, where visitors could pay a small fee to wander the dark, empty building on their own. As you can imagine, this led to countless more stories and personal experiences being shared online and by word of mouth. People would explore the most active areas, like the basement and the attic, armed with nothing but a flashlight and their own courage. Many came away with stories of shadowy figures darting just out of sight, doors slamming shut on their own, and the unnerving feeling of being touched or pushed by an unseen force. These courage tests became a rite of passage for local youths and a must-do for ghost hunters. However, in recent years, the Indonesian railway company, which still owns the property, has made significant efforts to restore Lawang Sewu to its former glory. They've cleaned it up, repaired the crumbling facade, and installed beautiful lighting that highlights its stunning architectural details. The building is now presented more as a historical museum, celebrating its Dutch colonial heritage and its role in the nation's railway history. The dark tourism aspect has been downplayed, and the late-night courage tests are no longer officially offered. The focus has shifted from ghosts to history. But does that mean the spirits have left? According to the guards who still patrol the 1,000 doors at night, absolutely not. The renovations may have brightened the halls, but they haven't silenced the echoes of the past. The screams from the basement are still heard. The lady in white is still seen gazing from the windows. The unseen presences still make themselves known. It seems the history of Lawang Sewu is so deeply embedded in its very foundation that no amount of restoration can erase the spiritual imprint left behind by decades of joy, sorrow, and unspeakable trauma. Lawang Sewu stands as a powerful reminder that some places are more than just brick and mortar. They are silent witnesses to history, absorbing the energy of the events that unfold within them. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, there is an undeniable atmosphere at Lawang Sewu, a weight, a presence that speaks of its complex and often tragic past. It's a place where history and haunting are inextricably linked, where the beauty of the architecture stands in stark contrast to the darkness it holds. The screams from the underground prison may be paranormal, or they may be the psychological echoes of a terrible history forever imprinted on this incredible building. What do you think? Have you ever visited Lawang Sewu or a place with a similar heavy atmosphere? Let me know your thoughts and your own experiences in the comments below. I love reading your stories. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey into one of Indonesia's most haunted locations. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations into the world's most mysterious places. Until next time, stay curious.